Now, as of right now, it is very well known that Bob Iger, the Disney board, etc., everyone over there at Disney is going through a very big backlash from Snow White 2024 over the leaked photographs that were confirmed to be real some time ago after Disney initially claimed them to be fake and then backtracked. That also put them into a lot of criticism among, of course, fans of the Snow White stories that have been, of course, remade multiple times throughout the past numerous decades. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into exactly what Disney is up to with the latest developments surrounding Snow White 2024, their response to the backlash, and exactly what they are doing to tame the overall backlash by essentially revising elements of this movie. Now, we know that director Marc Webb is going through also a very difficult time right now with Snow White, given that they wrapped filming back in July of 2022. Ever since then, there's been a lot of work being done on this movie, including, of course, a remade version of the High Ho song. We talked about this, that they are essentially ridding or attempting to revise that song in order to receive far less criticism for the movie. If you guys want to go ahead and check that out, we talked about that earlier on today. However, one thing that is being completely pulled back and revised by Disney, not a big surprise, has a lot to do with something big between Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot. Let's get into it. Now, on top of this, with, of course, Snow White going under much damage control and how that's erupting over at Disney right now, with poor attempts to reduce the backlash, one major development surrounding this film involves Disney deciding to delete an entire segment from the movie for a scene that they felt would offend moviegoers. The sequence that was done by director Marc Webb, that was shot back in June of 2022, involved Gal Gadot and her transformation from the evil queen into the disguise that she puts on, like in the 1937 original, where she appears very witch-like. Now, however, Marc Webb created his own spin on the transformation from the evil queen into the witch-like creature, and took inspiration from what he did with the Green Goblin transformation scene in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and applied that to the evil queen's transformation. So guys, let me just pause here quick about this. Now, if you guys want to get an idea of the thing that Disney feels would offend the common moviegoers, the audience members, etc., for the evil queen transformation, is that it was modeled after the Green Goblin transformation scene from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I insist that you guys go ahead and check out that scene to get an idea of how it's going to have that horror element in Snow White 2024 that Disney now wants to water down because they feel it would scare kids away, essentially. So let's get into this further, alright? On top of that, Disney is now in the process of deleting the entire scene and watering it down with extra footage, since, of course, this was coming straight out of a horror film, is what it felt like. Disney is afraid it would scare kids away, as well as a younger audience in general. The evil queen also had horrific scenes with Rachel Zegler's Snow White when she's transformed, where a new spin for the apple scene was created by Marc Webb that was reportedly too extreme for audiences to handle at a younger age, that is planned to be carefully revised now and altered once the strikes come to an end. Now, the evil queen transformation scene was best described to be a beat-for-beat style, almost a copy and paste of the way it was directed and color-corrected from the Green Goblin transformation from Amazing Spider-Man 2. It was a mixture of real prosthetics for Gal, as well as CGI. And that's another thing to know, by the way, guys. Gal Gadot did indeed confirm that her transformation scene into what she actually calls her the old hag. She literally calls her the old hag. That transformation involved a lot of prosthetics on her face. So it's not entirely CGI. CGI is almost like a supplement for the transformation scene on top of the prosthetics, just to be clear. They did something similar with Bane in The Dark Knight Rises for Tom Hardy. Very similar with the prosthetics there. But what's interesting about this is that he modeled the scene after the Green Goblin transformation, being very much grotesque, very much horrific, and having this type of music that would make it coming straight out of a horror movie. Disney didn't really like that, and they are now trying to diminish and water that down to something that is more reliable for younger audiences to handle. And I think that Disney needs to wake up a little bit, because I think it's probably not even close to as extreme as they may seem to be making it out to be. You know, if you guys look up the Green Goblin transformation scene, it's really not all that horrific if you really think about it. It's not that bad. And given that it was reported that it was a beat-for-beat style of how it was done in that Spider-Man film, really makes you wonder, is Disney becoming way too safe with this movie? Because I think so, guys. I think that ever since those leaked photographs surfaced, they really are doubling down on damage control. They want to make sure that this movie is going to have a complete safe play, if you will, in order to gravitate toward everybody. That's not going to drive anybody away, period. So, moving onwards. Alright, Disney is now in the process of ordering Marc Webb, the director, to tone down the horror elements of Gal Gadot's Evil Queen transformation. Webb was reportedly very frustrated with Disney's recent demands over revising the scene to not scare kids away from the film, and they are going into damage control once again, ever since backlash for the film has been so damaging to their marketing strategy that was supposed to start this month, mind you, that has now been delayed until September during their D23 event. Gal is also frustrated since she spent so many hours undergoing makeup routines, 4 hours a day, that much of the footage is planned to actually go to waste now. So I don't know about you guys, but I think that given that this may very well damage Gal's, career over in Hollywood in the film industry, this could very well taint her career as an actress. It's very possible. And the fact that she is siding with, Disney and everything related to it in that sense, it's really not looking good, and it's really not a good image for Gal Gadot. I mean, I'm not saying she's a bad casting decision for the Evil Queen, but I'm just saying that since she's attached to this atrocity, I think it's really gonna stick along with her for the years to come. There's no doubt about this. So, anyway, we know that Gal is, coming back into the Fast and Furious franchise. She's gearing up for Fast 11 and 12. Yeah, no joke, guys. She is coming back for those movies after her reprising the role in Fast 10's, climax there. But what's interesting about this is they are watering down what could have been, I believe at least, this is my opinion, what could have very well been a pinnacle moment in a villain in the Disney remakes to have a proper element of introduction, which could have really been iconic, it could have been well established, and I think they're making a big mistake. I feel it's not as bad as they are making it out to be behind the scenes. They're being way too safe with this movie, etc., etc. So guys, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
From night to morning.